friends, come on in and get cozy. I've got some fun crafty ideas to show you. I'm Summer Hammons with Hammons Nest, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, whichever that is. I'd love to know in the comments, and I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. And I hope you leave today's video feeling inspired to create with wood slices, because that is the theme of today's video, but Christmas ornaments. And so you're going to get 5 different ways that I'm using a wood slice to create a Christmas ornament. And I'm actually altogether, you're going to see 10 different ornaments. So several of the ideas I show you, I'm going to do a couple different variations. I love doing variations. And that's why I really love seeing your versions of my projects too. So if you decide to make any of these that you see in this video, could you do me a favor and tag me in your favorite social media place at Hammons Nest? That way I can see what you create, because that's the best part of all. Okay, so I won't keep you waiting. Let's jump into the video and take you through all 5 ideas. The first one I have on my list to show you is using rubber stamps. I love them. Let's go. Let me show you. You will want to go dig out your stamps and these wood slices to create this idea. You're going to see a couple different variations on this one just for fun. The first one I'm going to paint it in the color Prairie Sage, just like a pretty greenish, bluish, grayish color. And I'm putting on 1 coat, letting that dry, give it a little bit of distressing. And I didn't show that, but I'll show it in the second one. And once that is all dry, we're going to lay out our rubber stamps for the alphabet version. And I am using an acrylic stamping block. That is a must when you're working with these silicone stamps. And I'm using the color Timber Brown by Stays On Ink. Goes on really nicely. Jingle bells. Using a little of the same ink color just around the edges to tie into the embellishments that you'll see in just a minute. Stringing this whole up with jute string. Now, I picked up these wood slices from Lowe's a couple Christmas seasons ago. I'm hoping they'll restock them. I loved that they had a little Christmas craft section one year. And so they already had the holes pre-drilled. Strung that up, made a little Osnaburg muslin bow. Just kind of tied that with a couple loops, couple tails. And then with the extra string on the back of the bow from where I tied it, I was able to string on a couple of small rusty bells and just knot it. And it held it on and let them kind of hang down. And then in the center, I put a bigger bell for that nice trio of bells. So cute. All right, second variation, just for fun. Oyster beige is the color I'm using from DecoArt. I'm going to do the same steps, dry, sand, and get ready to stamp. So instead of alphabets, for this one, I wanted to show you what it's like to use a decorative stamp. This is a pretty bird design. I will actually link both of the stamp sets you've seen in these ideas down in the description of this video. Okay, beautiful bird on that pretty creamy white background. It really just pops. I'm using the same ink around the edges, just like I did in the first idea. And now I'm using a scrap piece of green plaid homespun fabric. Just a simple little shoestring bow. Going to glue that in place. Just a little off center there and a button. There it is. How easy is that? So depending on all the stamps that you have, you could really have fun with this one. Oh my goodness. Did you love those or what? Okay, I don't know if you have the extensive rubber stamp collection like I do, but with just a few sets of stamps, you can really get creative and make a bunch of those. So fun. Okay, so let's get set up for idea number 2, and that is using scrapbook paper. At least that's what you're going to see in my example, but you can use napkins, different kinds of tissue paper, just anything you can decoupage that has a pattern. Just look how simple it is. Once you see this one, your mind will be spinning of all the different materials you could decoupage with. It's a really fun idea. I'm going to be showcasing a couple of pages I pulled out of a scrapbook cardstock set I got at Hobby Lobby. And you just find a piece of the design on whatever it is you're decoupaging that you want to feature. I thought this beautiful poinsettia with the music sheet in the back was really nice. So I just put on a generous coat of Mod Podge. Depending on how rough your wood is, this is a little tip for you. It could soak up that Mod Podge, and you may need to put an extra coat before you ever try to decoupage the paper or whatever it is that you're Mod Podging. So that was a really pretty design. And while that one's drying, I loved this little village. It's like a little winter village, and there was like a little scene with a kid in a sled, and it was really pretty. So I pulled that one out to feature it, did the same exact steps, Mod Podge, place it down, and use a sander to score those edges and get all that excess paper off. And these are really easy to put a nice top coat seal on. And then I poked back through the holes because these, again, were from the Lowe's wood slices that I bought one year that I mentioned in the idea before this. And now I'm going to use this ink to go around the edges. This is the Tim Holtz Distress ink in the color Vintage Photo because it kind of looks rusty and it's going to tie into my embellishments. I'm using raffia on the little village one, and I'm using this beautiful green velvet on the poinsettia one just for a little bit of a dressier feel. And to tie back into the distressing ink I put around the edges that is rusty color, I'm gluing a rusty bell in the center of each of those bows, and we are done. Aren't these so sweet? I have made them in so many different ways with wrapping paper, tissue paper, napkins, even fabric. Right, pretty easy. I love the way the pattern of the different papers, napkins, anything you can decoupage just designs that entire ornament for you. It couldn't be any easier. It takes like zero skills except for how to put on a little bit of Mod Podge, right? Now let me tell you a little bit more about idea number 3. That is using a really magical paste called wood burning paste. And I'm going to pair it with some Mylar stencils, and you're going to see 3 different variations of this one because I could not help myself. All right, enjoy. This one is like science and crafting together. So the wood burning paste ornaments are probably the most involved out of all the ideas I'm showing you today, but I'm going to give you the best tips and practices, and whatever kind of scorch paste you end up using, just read the instructions and follow it as best you can. Okay, I'm using this brand called Scorch Paste. I do have one link similar down in the description of the video, so you can go check it out, along with these Mylar stencils that I'm using. My first tip is I find that this paste works best on smooth surfaces. So I'm using a wood coaster set I picked up at Walmart for the wood slices, and I used a little stippling brush, and I stippled a very thin coat. You do not want to leave this paste thick. You can use a Mylar stencil, you can use a vinyl stencil, or you could try to freehand it if you wanted, but the point is you really don't want to leave that paste on there thick, and you need to give it some time to dry before you heat it up. You're going to see all that in these instructions. And after it's dry, you saw I glazed it with a little bit of antiquing wax, and that just helps the contrast of the beautiful wood burn color. I do have to use a heat gun because my little heating crafting tool doesn't quite get hot enough. So there's some tips for you. Now you're just kind of seeing me embellish this Joy to the World one, which turned out so beautiful. This rustic red and green bow is the perfect simple touch to finish it off with a button in the center as well. But let's take a quick break. I have a couple other variations of this idea I want to show you. I sure hope you've enjoyed these ideas so far, and if you have, could you do me a favor, make sure that you're liked and subscribed to my channel and that you are following along in all the social media places so we can connect through our mutual love of creativity. Okay, now I'm going to quickly go through the simple steps again with a couple different ideas. I've got this Let It Snow one. One thing I didn't mention in the first one is that once you're done with the Mylar stencil, you'll want to go connect what they call the bridges, where there's gaps from the stencil before you burn it. Let it rest for a couple minutes, let it dry before you heat it up. And then you'll want to hold your heating tool very close, but kind of keep it moving to get that evenly dark burn look. Now, I really love it with the antiquing wax, but you also need to let it dry a couple minutes before applying the antiquing wax so you don't, wipe any of that off. And then it's optional, but you can seal it with some clear sealer. Okay, for the Joy to the World one, I've got some scraps that I went and got out of my scrap basket, just little pieces of fabric, and I'm using this little bow holder to kind of hold it between the pegs to help me build it because it's so tiny, kind of hard to hold in your hands. But this is so cute whenever I can't throw away scraps because you can make cute little bows like this. So that one looks perfect. A rusty snowflake in the center of that one. See how fun variations are? You get to see it done all different kinds of ways. Okay, and then the green velvet and this brown primitive plaid with a grapevine star in the center for the piece one. These are precious, and the whole process is so much fun. I hope you'll give it a try. So are those not the neatest ornaments that you've ever seen? I personally really love the rustic and the wood burn look. So knowing that this paste makes it happen with a little bit of help, which I like to call magic, is really, really fun. So I hope you're inspired by that one. Okay, now let me take you into idea number 4. It's hard to pick a favorite, but probably my favorite out of all the ideas I'm showing you today. And it is a little bit of a woodlands theme, a little bit different than your average snowman, but I'm going to show you a really cute snowman face idea. Get ready for the cuteness. I think what I love about this idea the most is that you're going to see at the end, you don't need any painting skills for those snowman faces. So we're going to get this smooth coaster. This is from the Walmart pack. So it's got that smooth surface. We're going to paint it in the Oyster Beige by Deco Art. Give it a nice dry, a nice sand. And we've got little pieces of this corrugated cardboard. You might have seen it in some past projects. I created a little snowman hat by cutting out the pieces that I wanted. You may want to change the size of yours depending on the size of your wood slice. But now I'm laying out buttons. And then for the nose, I use the same corrugated cardboard. And I'm calling it cardboard, but I actually get this in the scrapbook paper section at Hobby Lobby, but you can repurpose some cardboard as well. When I tell you that this is so simple and I love the neutral look, yes, you could do all the traditional colors, but like I told you, this is a little different. So I laid out the face first and found all the right buttons in my button stash, and it's just perfect. There's even like this little white twinkle that were in these brown buttons that kind of looks like you painted it. So, I mean, it couldn't have been any easier. So I took some of that rusty brown distress ink that I told you in that vintage photo color by Tim Holtz, and I kind of put it on all the cardboard to add some interest. And then I've got a floral pick I'm going to pick a little piece off of just to play with that neutral, the Osnaburg muslin bow, grapevine, and rusty star layered. Oh my goodness. Okay, after I wrapped up with that one, it was really hard not to just keep creating snowmen the whole afternoon. So cute. I hope that you'll try to create one in your own special way. You could do them in a number of ways and different colors and different embellishments. And I hope you love the idea. Okay, let's wrap up with idea number 5, which is probably the easiest. Not that all these weren't easy, but this one's definitely the easiest idea out of them all. And it is finding some favorite accents. Mine happen to be a couple of rusty accents, a star and a snowflake, and simply mounting them on the wood slice. Let's take a look, and then you'll have to let me know in the comments which one out of all these ideas you watched were your favorite. I'm not painting or staining for this one. We are keeping it super simple. We've got the wood slices. These are the ones from Lowe's, and they're about the same size as the stamped ones that I showed you at the very beginning. My biggest tip when you're using a 3D accent like this beautiful rusty star is to put some hot glue or cardboard. If you're going to use hot glue, let it set and dry because it helps raise it up so you can attach it to whatever surface. And the cardboard would do the same thing. And then simply glue on your embellishments. Make a sweet little bow like I did with a scrap fabric, and you are done. Oh my goodness, there are so many ways you could create this one. See, I told you that was the simplest idea of them all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this whole video has inspired you to take a little time to get creative and make some fun Christmas ornaments out of wood slices. It's been a joy to spend this time with you, and I hope you'll hit that notification bell and like and subscribe to my channel so that you'll know the next time I drop some crafty goodness. You can also head over to my blog at hammondsnest.com. There's lots of fun ideas there too. Lastly, be sure to check the description of this video in case you're wondering about any of the supplies you saw in today's video. I have linked some as a courtesy for you today. All right, hope to see you next time. Bye-bye, y'all.